if Deshaun Watson is the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback to begin the season, that is okay, and in some ways, it's kind of the best case scenario because you still don't know exactly what you have in Shedeur.
But I would say would be one of the more shocking developments in the past decade if Deshaun Watson not just starts in 2026, which would not really be a surprise.
The Browns' quarterback situation just got a lot more interesting because when an NFL insider starts hinting at the plan, fans have to listen closely. This is not just another camp battle where the coach says all the right things and everybody pretends the race is wide open. This is Cleveland. This is the quarterback position, and this is a franchise that has lived through too many false starts, too many resets, and too many maybe this is the guy moments. So when Ian Rapoport says Deshaun Watson starting the season might actually be the best case scenario for the Browns, that is not just a casual opinion. That is a signal that Cleveland may be thinking about this quarterback competition very differently than a lot of fans expected. The big question now is simple. Are the Browns really preparing to start Watson again? Or are they just using him as a bridge until Shedeur Sanders is ready? Because that is the part that changes everything. If Watson starts week 1, some fans will see it as Cleveland refusing to move on. Others will see it as the team protecting Shedeur from being thrown into the fire too early. And then there is the third possibility, the one nobody wants to say too loudly. Maybe the Browns still do not fully know what they have in either quarterback, so they are trying to buy themselves time before making the decision that shapes the entire future of the franchise. Rapoport's point was not that Watson has already won the job. His point was that if Watson is healthy enough and good enough to open the season as the starter, that might actually work out for Cleveland. Why? Because Shedeur sitting and learning for a few games is not the worst thing in the world. It gives the young quarterback time to process the offense, adjust to NFL speed, and avoid being judged too harshly before he is ready. At the same time, it gives the Browns one last look at Watson, one last chance to see if there is anything left from the player who once looked like a franchise quarterback in Houston.
His points were for this. Well, number one, he said Watson has not been healthy, and when he was playing, he was hampered by injuries. And those are kind of his excuses, perhaps, for why Watson was so bad last time we saw him.
That is where the debate starts. Browns fans are tired of hearing about the old version of Deshaun Watson. They have heard it for years. They have heard about the athleticism, the arm talent, the playmaking, the Houston tape, the injuries, the rust, the bad timing, the bad circumstances, and everything in between. But at some point, the Browns need results, not memories. They did not make that massive move for Watson just to keep explaining why it hasn't worked. If he starts again, the leash cannot be long. He doesn't get another full season of excuses. He gets a chance, but that chance has to come with pressure. And that is exactly why Rapoport's comments matter so much. He's basically saying the Browns might see Watson starting as a positive, but only if it creates stability. If Watson looks sharp, protects the football, moves the offense, and gives Shedeur time to develop, then Cleveland has a plan. But if Watson looks like the same inconsistent quarterback fans have already lost patience with, then the plan changes fast. That is why this situation feels like a ticking clock. Watson may start the season, but he's not just competing against Shedeur. He's competing against the entire fan base's patience. Now let's talk about Shedeur Sanders, because he is the reason this whole conversation feels bigger than a normal veteran versus young quarterback battle. Shedeur is not just some quiet backup sitting in the corner. He brings attention, he brings expectations, he brings a name. And whether people like it or not, he brings a fan base that wants to see him play. Every practice report matters. Every throw gets discussed. Every comment from the coaching staff gets broken down like it is a draft day clue. That's what happens when a young quarterback enters a market that has been starving for a long-term answer.
So if Shedeur could fine-tune what Monken is calling, the keys to his success, it could look pretty dang good. And those keys that he listed, as you saw, processing quickly, getting the ball out quickly on a different play. There's not always going to be the big play. All right, so you don't always have the time to drop back and look around, right? You can't take those long yardage sacks. And so one thing that Monken said he's improving on day by day here.
Todd Monken's comments about Shedeur were important because they focused on the exact things that decide whether a young quarterback can survive in the NFL. He talked about quicker decisions, he talked about getting the ball out faster, he talked about eliminating lost yardage plays. That is not random coach talk. That is the real development checklist. Shedeur has playmaking ability. He can extend plays. He can make throws when things break down. But in the NFL, talent alone is not enough. If you hold the ball too long, sacks kill drives. If you hunt for the big play every snap, defenses punish you. If you do not process quickly, the game speeds up and the offense gets stuck. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They think every NFL play has to become a highlight. But sometimes the best quarterback play is boring. Sometimes it's a 5-yard completion on time. Sometimes it's throwing the check down before the rush gets home. Sometimes it's avoiding a negative play and living for the next down. That is what Monken seems to be pushing with Shedeur. He's not trying to take away the playmaking. He's trying to sharpen it. He wants the young quarterback to know when to create and when to operate the offense exactly the way it is designed. That is why sitting for a few games could actually help Shedeur, not because he's not talented and not because the Browns don't believe in him. It could help because he gets to learn without the entire season being placed on his shoulders right away. The NFL is brutal on young quarterbacks who are thrown into bad timing, bad protection, or unclear offensive identity. Cleveland cannot afford to ruin another quarterback by rushing the process. If the Browns believe Shedeur is part of their future, then patience is not weakness. It might be the smartest thing they can do.
That's a long layoff. There's not a lot of precedent for a guy missing 1 season, much less the better part of 5 seasons, and coming back and performing at a high level. Having said that, again, Deshaun Watson has shown he can be a quality quarterback in the NFL. The last game that he played, prior to the injury he had in 2023 against the Ravens.
But here's the problem. The Browns also cannot hide behind patience forever. At some point, the team needs to know if Shedeur can play. If Watson starts and the offense struggles, the calls for Shedeur will get louder every week. If Watson looks average, not terrible but not good enough, the debate becomes even more uncomfortable, because then the Browns have to decide whether average veteran play is worth delaying the young quarterback's development. That is where Kevin Stefanski, Todd Monken, Andrew Berry, and the entire front office will be tested. The Browns are saying all the right things publicly. Monken says there are 2 starting-level quarterbacks and that the battle will go into preseason. Andrew Berry says there is good competition. He says Watson had a strong spring. He says Shedeur has made incredible strides. That all sounds good, but it also sounds like a team trying to keep every door open. And that makes sense. There's no reason to announce a winner too early. There's no reason to damage Watson's confidence or slow Shedeur's momentum before pads even come on. But fans are smart enough to know that eventually, somebody has to take the first snap of the season. The real clue might be in the word plan. Not competition, not battle, plan. Because a competition is what happens on the field. A plan is what the organization wants to happen if things go correctly. And Rapoport's comments suggest the Browns' ideal plan might be Watson starting early while Shedeur develops behind him. That does not mean Watson is the long-term answer. It means Cleveland may want Watson to hold the bridge long enough for Shedeur to be ready. That is a very different message than saying Watson is the future.
Looks like Todd Monken, the new head coach, is splitting up the offseason reps between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. Yes, Deshaun Watson is still there. He's entering the 5th and final year of the 5-year, fully guaranteed $230 million contract they gave him as a condition of the trade that brought him there from Houston. He has played a grand total of 19 games over the first 4 years, but he's healthy and apparently a candidate to win the starting quarterback job in Cleveland.
And honestly, that might be the most realistic version of this. Watson is on the last stretch of his Cleveland story. The Browns need to see if there is anything left, but they also need to prepare for life after him. Shedeur gives them a young option with upside. Dillon Gabriel gives them another young quarterback in the room. The Browns are not built like a team that has one clear quarterback and no questions behind him. They are built like a team still searching, still evaluating, and still trying to avoid another expensive mistake. That is why the first few weeks of the season could be huge. If Watson starts and looks like the old Houston version, the entire conversation changes. Suddenly, the Browns have stability, Shedeur gets time, and Cleveland can let the season breathe. But if Watson starts and looks hesitant, inaccurate, or limited, then the pressure to make a change will come fast. Fans will not wait until November. They will not accept another slow offensive start. They will not keep listening to explanations about timing and health. They will want to see the young guy. The tough part is that Watson does have a case if he is healthy. That is what makes this more complicated than fans want it to be. He has NFL experience. He has played in big games. He understands what defenses are trying to do. And if the coaching staff believes he fits what Monken wants to run, then it is not impossible to see why Cleveland would give him the first shot. Coaches often trust veterans early because veterans are supposed to handle pressure better. They know protections. They know when to kill a play. They know how to manage the huddle. Those things matter. But the counter-argument is obvious. What is the upside? If Watson is only okay, what are the Browns really gaining? Shedeur is younger. He is cheaper. He is under team control. He gives the franchise a chance to build something beyond this season. So if Watson is not clearly better, then every snap he takes becomes harder to defend. That is the danger for Cleveland. They cannot let reputation beat reality. If the young quarterback earns the job, he has to play. If the veteran is only starting because of money, history, or fear, the locker room will eventually feel that. That locker room part matters. Players know who gives them the best chance. They see the reps, they see the throws, they see who commands the huddle, they see who processes quickly, they see who makes the offense feel alive. Coaches can say the battle is open, but the team usually knows when one quarterback is pulling ahead. That is why preseason will be important. Not just for the stats, but for the feel. Who gets the ball out on time? Who handles pressure? Who avoids sacks? Who turns 3rd and 6 into a first down? Who makes the receiver room believe? The Browns also have to think about the bigger roster. They are young by design, according to Barry, and that matters. A young team can live with some growing pains if it believes those growing pains are leading somewhere. If Shedeur plays and makes mistakes, fans might accept it if they see growth. But if Watson plays and makes those same mistakes, the reaction will be completely different. That is the reality. Veterans are judged by results. Young quarterbacks are judged by promise. That is not always fair, but it is how NFL fan bases operate. The minicamp updates around the rest of the team only add to the urgency. Jerry Jeudy dealing with a hamstring issue, Denzel Ward being limited, Grant Delpit's situation raising questions, the defense trying to keep its identity, all of it reminds you that the Browns cannot afford chaos at quarterback too. If the quarterback position is unstable, everything else becomes harder. Receivers get blamed, play callers get blamed, the defense gets tired, the fan base turns. That is why Cleveland needs a plan that is more than just, let's see what happens. And the plan may be this. Let Watson start if he clearly looks ready. Give Shedeur time to develop. Keep the leash short and be ready to pivot quickly if the offense stalls. That sounds simple, but it's hard to execute because egos get involved. Contracts get involved. Fan pressure gets involved. Media narratives get involved. If Watson starts, every incompletion becomes a Shedeur conversation. If Shedeur sits, every good practice report becomes a reason fans demand change. If Gabriel flashes, then the room gets even more complicated. This is not a quiet quarterback battle. This is going to be the Browns' biggest story until someone takes control. That is why Rapoport's hint feels important. He is not saying the Browns have already closed the door on Shedeur. He is saying the cleanest version of the plan might not be the version fans want immediately. Fans want excitement. They want the future now. They want to know if Shedeur is the guy. But the Browns might want sequencing. Veteran first, young quarterback learning. Evaluation period, then decision. That is a slower plan, but it might be the one they trust. The legacy angle is what makes this so heavy. Cleveland has spent decades looking for quarterback stability. Every new name comes with hope, and every failed name leaves scars. Watson was supposed to end the search. Instead, his time in Cleveland has created more questions than answers. Shedeur now represents the next possible chapter, but the Browns have to handle it correctly. If they rush him and he struggles, they risk damaging the future. If they sit him too long while Watson underperforms, they risk wasting the present. That is the balance they have to strike. For Watson, this could be his last chance to rewrite the Cleveland part of his career. If he starts and plays well, he can change the conversation, at least on the field. He can prove the injuries and the time away did matter. He can show there is still something left. But if he starts and fails again, there may be no more patience, no more benefit of the doubt, and no more talk about what he used to be. Cleveland will move on emotionally before it even moves on officially. For Shedeur, this is about timing and trust. He doesn't have to win the job in June. He doesn't have to win the fan base on one practice clip. He has to show the coaches he can run the offense the way it needs to be run. Faster decisions, fewer negative plays, cleaner rhythm, and the same playmaking confidence that made people believe in him in the first place. If he keeps stacking those improvements, his moment is coming. The question is whether that moment comes in week 1, week 4, or sometime after Watson runs out of chances. So Browns fans have to decide what they actually want. Do they want Watson to start because it gives Shedeur time and maybe gives Cleveland the most stable opening to the season? Or do they want Shedeur now because the franchise needs to stop delaying the future? Do they believe Watson can still become close to the Houston version? Or are they completely done waiting for a player who has not delivered enough in Cleveland? And if the Browns really believe both quarterbacks are starting level options, then why does this still feel like one decision could split the entire fan base? That is the real drama behind this insider hint. The Browns may have a plan, but plans only survive if the quarterback plays well. Watson can make the plan look smart by starting strong. Shedeur can destroy the plan by looking too good to keep on the bench. And the coaching staff can lose control of the plan if the offense comes out flat. So yes, Rapoport's comments may point toward Watson getting the first shot, but this battle is far from over. Because in Cleveland, quarterback decisions are never just football decisions. They become identity decisions. They tell fans what the franchise values: patience or urgency, experience or upside, reputation or performance, safety or risk. And this season, the Browns may finally have to pick a side. If Watson starts and wins, the front office can say the plan worked. If Watson starts and fails, everyone will ask why Shedeur was waiting. And if Shedeur eventually becomes the answer, then the only question left will be whether Cleveland trusted him early enough.